Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. My name is Stone Rain Productions, but please feel free to call me SRP if you'd like. And yeah, I wanted to go back to something classic here. Vader Green was one of my very first decks. I take this off because I don't need that. I was editing, sorry. But yeah, this is one of my very first decks, and I built mine off of the Vader pre-con and just kind of built it up from there. And I still like Vader 1, so I figured I'm going to do an updated list. I've been doing pretty good with this so far, and the sideboard's got some pretty good tech against more controlling decks as well too. But before we get into anything today, I just wanted to ask if you could definitely please consider liking and subscribing. Definitely helps me out quite a bit. Still fairly new content creator for Star Wars Unlimited, so anything that you could do like that really helps me out, along with leaving a comment if you'd like to. Let me know what you'd like to see updated in the list, or what you think of this overall. Now let's jump in and take a look and see. I know a lot of people didn't really start off with the first set, but it was a fun time, and if you didn't, you missed out, because set 1 was just kind of its own thing. It was its own meta. It was so much fun. There was so much variation, and I'm a firm believer that Spark of Rebellion, the first set, was pretty much the best set that I had ever seen for any card game I've ever played. It's just super well designed, and I love it. So I'm getting back to my roots here with some set 6 updates before everything rotates out, giving it one last hurrah, sending it off in style if I can. So what do we get with Vader? Vader is a 7 flip leader. So that kind of deters people right there. 7's kind of slow unless you're ramping. This deck does ramp. But let's go over everything here, and we'll discuss what we get. And some of the set 6 updates as well too. It's a very big one with Vader that I wanted to go over. But on the face of it, Vader is a aggression villainy that has an action where we can pay 1 and exhaust it. And if we've played a villainy card this phase, we can deal 1 damage to a unit and 1 damage to a base. Great for finishing stuff off or killing early units. Vader flips on 7 and is a 5/8, and when it attacks, you get to deal 2 damage to a unit. It has some very good finishing power to it. You can pick off lots of small things with this Vader. It's very good at finishing things off. If we combine that with our ECL, it's a 25 hit point base, but we can give a unit that costs 6 or less ambush for this phase. That's the epic action for this. I think it's well worth it, and there's a few cards that are worthy of using the ambush itself here. But let's go over all the cards and the choices, and we'll discuss why. I've got 3 copies of Death Star Stormtrooper, so 1 costs 3, 1 from the first set. And this is pretty good if we see our opponent play something on turn 1 that we can just ping and kill, where we play our Death Star Stormtrooper. Since we played a 1 cost villainy, we can pay 1, exhaust our Vader, deal a 1 to the unit, opposing unit, and 1 to their base, and we've taken care of their first turn play. Otherwise, it's a 1 cost 3/1, which is just a great beater. We've got 2 copies of Timely Reinforcement. Backup ways to give our units ambush is great. We've got some big hitters in here that could definitely use ambush. A couple in particular that I'm thinking of primarily. But it's a great card, especially for the later game. There's a 5 cost unit that I like using it with, and an 8 cost unit that I like using it with. But depending on what we've got going on, we may want to do something like a 3 or 4 as well. There is a 4 cost unit that we have that we could timely in that could chain a couple different attacks in one, and we'll go over that in just a moment as well. We've got 3 copies of Colonel Yularen. It's kind of going back and forth whether I wanted to actually play this or not, but it's still a somewhat solid card. It's a 2/3, and whenever we play a command unit, we get to heal a damage from our base. It's not a ton, and we could probably switch this out for something else. In all honesty, we could probably even do like something one of the cards in the sideboard, the Ozzel, and just kind of switch them. But I'm going with this in the main because we do have quite a bit of main deck command cards where we should gain some life off of this. We do have 3 copies of the Imperial Dark Trooper, new 2-drop 3/3. This deck definitely needed something like that in order to compete with some of the more aggressive decks, and it's been very fantastic in my testing so far. Kylo's TIE Silencer has been pretty much a staple. 2 cost 3/2. We're pretty much never going to do the action part of this where if it's discarded we can play from our discard pile. It's almost exclusively going to be a 2 cost 3/2 in space, which is pretty aggressive. We also don't have a lot of space in this deck, so this is just another way to get extra pressure, I guess, or to pick off something in space early if we need to. We've got 2 copies of Force Choke. This very easily can be played for its 1 cost with the cost reduction from the card. If we control a Force unit, it costs 1 less, and it deals 5 damage to a non-vehicle unit, and that's owner's controller gets to draw a card. One cost to defeat something with 5 damage is pretty great, so definitely still like Force Choke. It's great. We're running 1 copy of General Veers in here because the majority of our deck is Imperial, and we do have a way to search it out with Vader later on. But we'll get to that when we get there. This is meant to be just kind of a one-of toolbox target for Vader. When we play him, we get to go search for a unit that has villainy. This is a pretty good one because it gives all of our other Imperial units +1/+1. Knight of Ren, 3 cost 4/4. It's just good because it's slightly overstated for its cost, and I really like it. It's been a good beater, nothing to write home about, but it's just a good solid card. We do need to have at least 1 Sentinel, and Phase 3 Dark Trooper is my card of choice because we can hit it off of our set 1 Vader unit as well. It's one of the main reasons why I chose it. We could definitely go with a bigger Sentinel in the sideboard if we wanted to as well, or even one in the main if we wanted. But I think this is probably good enough. We just need something to kind of stall a little bit once in a while until we can get to the 5 or 6 cost turn. But it's definitely a solid Sentinel. It stood the test. It's still good. I mean, it's not incredible, but it's definitely still decent. One of the nice plays is if you do ECL this or timely it, you can run it into a 2/2 and all of a sudden becomes a 4. It gets an experience, and now it's got 4 attack. So there's always that fringe upside to it. As we mentioned before, we are a ramp deck, so we've got 3 copies of Super Laser Technician. This, you can also use Vader's ability to defeat your own unit if you need to. If you've got 4 resources, you can play your Super Laser Tech, and then use the Vader ability to ping your own Super Laser Tech if you need to. Just an option. You don't need to do that, but it's available for you. Just kind of like the Palpatine where you can sacrifice it. We've got 2 copies of Open Fire. I didn't put a lot of removal in here because I don't think we need it. Primarily because a lot of our units are going to be doing the heavy lifting. Plus we've got Overwhelming Barrage. We've got some Force Chokes. I don't think that we need a ton of these, but it's there for some of the stuff that we may need. 3 copies of Resupply. Just another way for us to get another resource into play on turn 2. Just essentially play the event, and it goes and becomes a resource for you. Not much to talk about. Now, the Hoth Lieutenant is from the Intro Battle Hoth series, and I think that this card is pretty good. You get 2 in the starter, and there's a couple of cards that you only get 1 of, so I bought three of them so I could have a playset of all the cards in there. But this card's pretty good, and as I was mentioning before with the Timely Intervention, if you Timely Intervention this, it kind of becomes pretty neat. So if you have another unit in play, let's say this Maul right here, you Timely the Hoth Lieutenant, A Hoth Lieutenant will come in with Ambush. When played will come in. We get to give another unit +2/+0 on attack with it. So we could attack with our Hoth Lieutenant, and then we could nest the ability that we've got off the Hoth Lieutenant to give this +2/+0 on attack, and then attack with another one. So it's pretty nice. If you can get the 5, it works pretty well, and it's not super wacko or anything, but it definitely does work. And when it does work, when you do get to play it, it's really, really good. So the fringe upside to have that, either that or else with ECL, it's definitely worth playing it. And I really like this card quite a bit. It's pretty fantastic. If you haven't gotten your intro battle Hoth yet, definitely do that for sure. This card's worth it at the very least. I've got 2 copies of Darth Maul in here, and I really like this one a lot. It never really caught on, but with ECL, I think it works well, or the Timely Intervention. This is 5 cost, 5 6-second attack 2 units instead of 1, and it basically is going to deal its damage to both of those units. So it's a good way to kill 2 things that have 5 hit points or less. I should say defeat. That's terminology for the game. But I really like it. If for some reason your Maul does still live, and the following turn you could do something like Overwhelming Barrage, and it becomes even wilder. Because Overwhelming Barrage, our next card, gives a unit +2/+2 for the phase, and then we get to deal damage equal to its power divided as we choose among other units. So we can give our Maul +2/+2 and then spread the 7 damage across our opposing units and go from there. It's a very great card. Obviously, if you're playing green villainy, you almost always want to run Overwhelming Barrage. It's just so good. You kind of have to. I'm running 2 copies of Synthicaz here. And initially, I was not planning on running it. But the plot and the Vader, the first Vader, this card is so good with set 1 Vader. I had to play it. So even though Vader deploys on 7, we're gonna save our Synta. So this is what happens. We play our Vader, then we plot our Synta. So we're getting 3 actions in 1, but it's even more than that with this leader because we're getting also the 2 damage. So we're going to deploy our leader. We're going to plot Synta, which is going to allow the Vader to attack. Sorry, my throat is very dry. I apologize. The Vader's going to attack. It's going to deal 2 damage to a unit with its on-attack trigger, or on-attack ability. Then it's going to deal the 5 damage to whatever it's attacking, the base or something else. And then we'll have Synta for the next turn. It's just a lot. It's really good, especially with this leader, because usually you're getting 3 actions in 1, but with this you're, I guess, kind of getting 4 with the 2 damage. It's just awesome, and I really like it. It's been fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, I love the set 1 Vader. I have a soft spot for it ever since I started playing. 7 cost, 5/7. We don't really see it as much anymore, but it's still fantastic. 5/7 with Ambush. When played, we get to search the top 10 cards of our deck for any number of villainy cards with combined cost 3 or less and put them into play for free. So our options, we've got Death Star Stormtrooper, we've got the Imperial Dark Trooper, Kylo's TIE Silencer, Veers, we've got Knight of Ren, we've got Phase 3 Dark Trooper, Super Laser Technician. So definitely have some hits there, and my favorite is hitting Veers because it immediately makes the Vader a 6/8, and all of your other Imperials +1/+1, so it's fantastic. Maul is another great way to finish. We're ramping pretty good in this deck, so shouldn't be too hard to get to them. 7 cost, 7/6 with Ambush and Overwhelm. And on attack, you may choose another friendly Underworld unit. If you do, all combat damage that would be dealt to this unit on the attack is dealt to the chosen unit instead. Don't believe that we've got any Underworld units in here. Nope. You don't really need the redirection. It's not a big deal. The Overwhelm and Ambush are pretty much good enough to finish the game off by itself. I've got 2 copies of Emperor Palpatine because I still love this card, and even though it's 8 cost, I still love it. And it's good for what we're trying to do. We're trying to really wipe the board out. That's the primary game plan. We want to get the board as clean as possible so our units can just run rampant and go from there. But Palpatine from set 1 is a 8 cost 6/6 with Overwhelm, and when played we get to deal 6 damage divided as we choose among enemy units. It's really good. I do like Timely Intervention or ECLing this as well if we can. It's just a classic. I mean, coming in, dealing the 6 is just great. We've got 2 copies of Reinforcement Walker, 8 cost 6/9, nice. When played or on attack, we get to look at the top card of our deck, and we can either draw that card or discard it and heal 3 damage from our base. Works particularly well with ECL or Timely Reinforcements, because we get to, when played and on attack at the same time, they both trigger because we're going to give it ambush and we'll attack. So we could potentially heal up to 6 or draw 2 cards, depending on how we're doing. Sideboard, we've got a sub-discard plan against more controlling decks with 3 copies of Ozzel. If you want to switch this out for the Colonel Yularen, by all means, feel free to do that and just switch them if you'd like. I wanted to have the hedge against more aggressive decks in the main board, but by all means, feel free to switch them out if that's your preference. This is another Intro Battle Hoth card, 3 cost, 3/1. When defeated, each opponent discards a card from their hand. Really, the way that this works primarily is we run this into something, it gets defeated, we take out one of their units, make them discard a card. It's a nice piece of discard there, so I like it. Plus, we're taking something out for the most part. I'm going with a full 3 copies of Pillage. Choose a player. They discard 2 cards from their hand. For the more controlling matchups, definitely very much worth it. Get rid of those cards like Super Laser Blast and whatnot. For the space heavy decks, we've got 2 copies of Bombing Run, where we get to choose an arena and deal 3 damage to each unit in that arena. Pretty simple, mostly for something like the Vader Yellow type of deck where they swarm in space. We've got our 3rd copy of Reinforcement Walker, which we've already mentioned, and 1 copy of Relentless, another classic from set 1, 9 cost 8/8. And the first event played by each opponent, each round loses all abilities. It's just great, again, for those control decks. Gets rid of, or anything that's really running a lot of events, I suppose. It just kind of shuts those down. And that's the Vader, set 1 Vader with Secrets of Power cards. And I really like this. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's been pretty solid. No complaints. I really like it quite a bit. I think you should give it a try. And if you do, please feel free to drop a comment below. Let me know how you like it. Let me know what works, what you'd switch, and go from there. Just want to say thanks again, everybody, for stopping by. Really appreciate you doing so. Helps me out quite a bit. And may the Force be with you, my friends. I hope you're well. Take care, everybody. Be well.